Hey everybody, welcome back to another commentary video from Locals. This time we have Imperialdramon versus Numemon. Thank you again to Grandmaster Games for letting me record. I'm not obligated at all to shill them out. They're just great people that all work there. If you're in the Indianapolis area and want to pick up some Digimon cardboard, they have, not only do they have product, they also have singles. So definitely make sure you're checking them out. We have a pretty lively scene. We play on Sundays. It's great time. Like I said before, we have Imperial versus Nume, a very good matchup that we're about to see a lot more of with some new toys on the Imperial side that should help things out a little bit. But first off, we're going to go ahead and start off. We're going to see the Numemon player start us off. Hachisunamon. I see an Ukomon hiding over there. Yes, I do. And we're just going to go ahead and play out. We're going to play out the Searcher Uko. All right, we're going to start off double Ukomon. Imperialdramon player is going to think we do have quite a few rookies. We're going to draw. We just drew into a level 5. That's pretty good. We're contemplating playing a Davis and Ken, which we do, or we're also contemplating the ability to just play another Searcher. We're going to go ahead, gain a memory, hatch. Should be the opposite order. Doesn't matter. It's locals. Then we're going to search, reveal. I could either see picking up I could see picking up any of those cards, but we do pick up the Louis. We're going to Digivolve the Suno into another Ukomon. We do forget to draw for Digivolving. With the excitement of it, and then we're going to gain back 2 memory. So now we have 3 checks on board. We're going to Digivolve in the back into a Chikurimon. And now we can see that the Numemon player has a Waru, or a Monzemon, Monze X, Nume X, and Satsuki. Pretty good 4 cards if you ask me. Numemon player is going to think a little bit on exactly what they're going to want to be doing. We are going to see them just play out the Satsuki. Don't want to really push out anything. As long as our board doesn't get cleared here, we're able to promote out Chikuri, hatch an egg, get another search on, draw 2 cards, or gain 2 memory, all that fun stuff. Off the Davis Cat, we're going to play out a Vmon. Vmon's going to reveal both of our level 4s, figure out which one we need. It's the Stingmon. And then now we saw our Imperial player last week, or last time, draw into, or on their last turn, we saw them draw into Imperialdramon, so we know they have the combo in hand. So we're just gonna see if they go for it. And we see the Digivolve into a Stingmon. We see we drew another XVmon here. Any of the XVmons that we Digivolve into doesn't matter because we have the Davis and Ken. We're gonna trigger end of turn DNA. We're gonna Digivolve, gain 1 memory off of the Stingmon because we would DNA, and then we're gonna suspend here to gain another memory. We're gonna strip both the sources, draw a card for DNA in theory, and then suspend the board. Do we draw? We forget to draw. That is okay. This is a great position to be in. You can kind of just clean up the Ukomons that you don't want to deal with, especially since you know your opponent has 4 cards in hand. I would really prioritize going through the Searcher one at least. They can have extra memory, but if they can't do anything with it, like, it doesn't matter, right? So we're going to swing Piercing, Jamming over the Searcher, and we're going to draw 0 cards because it's the DP egg. We're going to hit a Garymon in security. And then I would also go ahead and swing through another Ukomon, hit another security. It's a Numemon that would have paired really well with the Satsuki we already played. And we're going to end our turn. Looks like we're debating going into the structure, either the structure deck palette or the dragon mode, but we do not. We instead go into a Davis and Ken. The Ukomon should not unsuspend here. We do go ahead and suspend the Louis and gain a memory off the Ukomon. We do correct that now. The Ukomon is still suspended, so we just have an unsuspended Chikuri. We see that our Nume player top decked into a Platinum. And then since we pass them to 4 memory, they have the ability to kind of do whatever they need. They just Digivolve the Chikuri into a Nume X here. Digivolve into Monze, give -3 and sec -1 to the Pail. And then we're going to see probably an evolution into the Monze X, which we do. We draw for Digivolve. We go ahead and play out a Numemon in our hand. And then we're going to give -6 to the Pail, which will go ahead and kill it. Even though we are at 9k, 3 + 6 is 9. We are going to partition out our bodies, which is pretty great. Now that we have the Monze X here, we can do 2 checks. I would have personally really liked to have seen the Satsuki jamming, but if we're down bad on cards in hand, we're just going to play out the Garymon. Also not a terrible idea. Discard the Plat, draw 2. All right. And now what? Right. I think that's kind of why I would have preferred that. I know that we drew into the Venus plus the Protoform, which I suppose we could go Protoform on one of our guys, especially if you really want to like hold up a blocker. But since we have 2 Davis Kens, we know that Protoform will stick around since Protoform can be removed unlike its normal counterpart. But we are going to go ahead and Protoform into the Monze X for 2. We're going to draw a card. I believe that this is an illegal play. I believe that Monze X specifically has to play out Numemon. It can't play out a Numemon in name, so you can't play out Nume X here. This does put our opponent closer and closer to Hellbent. You know, we have one card. We do go ahead with the Monze X. We do go ahead and kill off the Stingmon, and especially since we ripped off the top for the Nume X, it makes it a lot worse. We do go ahead. Ooh, no ability to play a rookie, and then just hard playing out the Stingmon. Everything can unsuspend now. Our opponent draws. We see he drew into another Ukomon, which we're immediately going to Digivolve into. Ukomon's such a fun card. We're going to see a Garymon swing, 1k. Garymon survives. We're going to see Ukomon swing, 2k, dies. We're going to see probably a jamming put underneath the Monze X. Yeah, it's tough to say. You maybe want to hold it up as a blocker, but also what you're probably just going to end up doing here is just completely swinging out. We see the Valk Ace in the Numemon player's hands. I would just recommend swinging out fully. Like, if they hit exactly Giga Death, it's really tough for you. If you hit exactly Giga Death as the last security, it's really tough. But I think I like kind of playing around that. We see a hard pass and a reboot because we left the Satsuki there. Sure, I like this. This kind of lets us play a little bit more safely, and we're threatening stuff. We choose to pass on the Davis and Ken. We don't. We do have a Imperialdramon in hand. We have 2. So I almost wonder why we didn't go into it last turn to be able to get rid of some of this stuff. We are going to DNA here. We should gain 2 memory total. Oh, right. We didn't play it last turn because we hard played the Stingmon because the first one died off of partition. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and spin that. We're going to gain 2 memory. We should be going up to 5, which our opponent unfortunately does forget to do. But we are going to be able to strip everything out from underneath the Monze. So the Imperial player does forget to kind of gain back the memory, which is the more important part of the Davis Ken. We are going to swing. We're going to draw 1 card. We're going to see the Valk Ace. -5 to the board, so we can't do anything else. And then we're going to check, and then we don't die to that because of jamming, but we are going to go ahead and die because of the Valk. Which now this puts us in a much worse position. But the problem is that even if our Imperial player had gained the memory, there is not a single card here in our Imperial player's hands that would really do anything. Everything is like 5. This is Valk and Ruin are such good counters to Imperial. If you're having a problem with Imperial, if you're running red, purple, or yellow, considering adding those to your top end, just because not being able to play out anything for 5k or less is really, really tough. And I know that Ruin mode's like $80 or whatever and slowly coming down, but we're going to play out another Davis and Ken, but this is all she wrote. We're going to see a promotion of the Ukomon. We're going to go ahead and hatch, gain a memory. Let's gain a memory off Louis. We're going to unsuspend everything, and then we're just going to swing, right? We're going to go to Nume X, sure. You know, just to make sure that we have everything that we need. I would just go ahead and I would just swing with Nume X here. If you're worried about Giga Death, you don't have to be because you're only going to overflow 4. So you're going to swing with Nume X. It is Giga Death. Wow. Okay, so I would have been blown out on the last turn. So we're going to probably see a suspension on the Valk Ace. It doesn't matter though, right? It only suspends 1 thing and then we swing for game. Yeah. I personally would have been blown out. I would have swung out, and then I would no longer have had a level 5 to go into. So really good ups on the Numemon player to be a little bit more conservative because you know you have that Valk Ace, and you know the Imperial player has to swing at some point, and their ability to have some sort of removal for a level 5 is extremely, extremely limited. Once we have access to the Progenitor option, or however they localized it, we should have the ability to do a lot better in such a way that we should be able to protect ourselves from deletion, because we can prevent a deletion of the Valk Ace in the security by digivolving into a dragon mode or something, right? So being able to do all that helps a ton. So just being able to have 1 more card that just protects us is, I'm a huge Imperial fan, is much, much better. So we see our Numemon player kind of just shuffling up. We see them take a mulligan. We see our Imperial player kind of doing a pile shuffle just because of, you know, if you're playing Imperial, you really just want to be doing a pile shuffle every once in a while, just especially if you're going on to a longer game. But we saw our Imperial player last time want to go on the draw against a Numemon. They also might opt to go on the draw here. They might opt to let the Numemon player go first just to get that extra guaranteed card. But that is a pretty good opening hand. A Davis and a level 3 and a level 4, a level 5 and a level 6. You just need to find your other half. Yep, we see the Numemon player going first. We go Uko, Garymon, pitch, Numemon, draw 2 cards. For 3 memory. That is a pretty good start. And we know that I saw that the Numemon player had a Nume X in hand. So now we have to figure out, we're going to Digivolve into the Vmon in the back, and you have to remember that anything that you put out that is a Digimon will die. So we're going to pick up a green and a blue, put a Tamer to the bottom of the deck, and it'll be the Numemon turn player at 1, very quickly moving up to 2. Hatch gain, and then we're going to see a Digivolve into a Nume X. We're going to draw, and then we should also draw off the Sunamon here, and which we do remember. And now we're kind of looking at the hand a little bit more. We see another Garemon, we see a Monzemon. We're going to see Garemon on play. We're going to go ahead and pitch a Plat to draw 2. We're just setting up. We're not in any sort of rush here. We're going to go Vmon. Vmon will Digivolve here. Ooh. Vmon will Digivolve here into something, which it's always tough, right? If you're at with this, Vmon reads so well, but it doesn't have end of turn DNA. In my list preparing for we see him pull it back because no game actions have been taken. Since we see, and we're just gonna play Davis again. I have pulled out down to 2 promo Vmons there because you just need end of turn DNA. It's needed a little bit less moving forward, but it's just not having access to that is so good. And this card, every time I see it, always feels like a bait because I'm always just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to promote it out, and then I just suddenly no longer have a promo, the ability to end of turn DNA. We're gonna see Davis and Ken play out of EV on play, grab a BT16 Imperialdramon, bottom deck the rest, and we already know that our Imperial pilot here has both Stingmon and XVmon in hand. We're going to Digivolve for 1 into the XV on top of the Promo V, and then we're going to go ahead and Digivolve for 2 into the Stingmon. And then we're going to reveal the BT16 Imperialdramon here. Yep. And we gain 1, 2 memory, and we suspend our Davis Ken for another memory. We strip all of the sources on our opponent's board, so that means that Monzemon can no longer do anything. We should also, our Imperial pilot again forgets to draw on DNA, which whenever you're resolving all the Davis and Ken effects, it can be hard to remember. That's why I always like to do all my Digivolve stuff, and then do my Davis and Ken afterwards, just to make sure that I'm getting everything that I need. We're going to swing. We're going to swing unsuspend because there's nothing to suspend. We're going to swing with piercing. We're going to draw 1 and 2, 1 off the Demi V, 1 off the V. We're going to pierce over something. We're going to attack into something. We're going to see a Valk Ace. We're going to give blanket -5. And since we have piercing here, whenever we check something, it's going to die. Okay. So we aren't even going to do that. We swing into the Monzemon, which is probably what I probably wouldn't have done, but I think the outcome regardless is the same. Even if you partition the body dies. So there's nothing that you could specifically do here that would have really allowed you to survive, other than going up into your stack and you're at 3 memory. You could have gone into the BT16 Dragon mode here and attacked. Because of the way that turn player priority works, your opponent would blast Digivolve, and then turn player priority works before your opponent gets to activate all of their when Digivolving effects. You get to activate your all turns effect. Nothing can unsuspend. We see them clarifying that. We see the promotion of the Ukomon. We should hatch an egg, gain 2 memory, going up to 5. We're going to Digivolve into a Chikuri in the back, and then we're going to kind of figure out what we want to do. We're going to go Gare into Monze for 3, and then we're going to see, what do we got over there? We got Monze X, which we're going to Digivolve into. We're going to draw a card. We should have drawn a card off the Sunamon at some point, but that's okay. We're going to figure out which Numemon that we want to play. We're going to play out the Satsuki slotting one, which we don't have. We are going to Digivolve into the Nume X. Now we're going to draw off the Sunamon. And then now we just got to figure out what we want to do here, right? You don't want to give the Imperial player too much memory because they would just be able to kind of do everything that they want to do. We're going to pay 3 memory. We were at 2. We're going to pay 3. Promote out this Chikurimon. Suspend Louis to gain a memory. Cool. Yeah, we have 3 attacks here if we want, or we have 6 attacks on the next turn. We're going to swing with our first Ukomon. Structure deck Dragon mode. We'll go ahead and make it die. Chikurimon, hit a BT16 Dragon mode. We must have been missing a Dragon mode, which is probably why the opponent didn't do it, which makes perfect sense. Now we're going to seeing what we want to do with this Nume X. Are we going to swing with the Nume X and attempt to float into a Platinum? We're just going to Digivolve our Monze X into this. Sure. We're going to draw, and then if we discard anything, it doesn't really matter. We would allow our opponent to have a little bit more memory, or they would be at the exact same amount of memory, but we would set up our trash a little bit more, but I don't think we really need to. We're going to hatch the Demi V. We're thinking start of main. We now know our opponent doesn't have a Valk Ace, or have the ability to Valk Ace us, I should say. We're picking up a Structure Deck Pail and a Davis Ken. If we have both level 4s that we need, which we do have an XV, we just don't, unfortunately, have the other one. We have a Elijahmon, so that's going to cost 3. That's going to cost 7 memory. We only gain back 2. So we only have one Hammer Spark in hand. Very, very close sequencing here. If the recommendation always, of course, is to digivolve into the XV, see if you can rip the Stinkbomb off the top and then end of turn DNA. But we also just are trying to figure out, I even think if we have the BT16 Pyeel in hand, I think it's just good to lock everything down and strip some sources. I don't think there's a singular wrong way about that, personally. But we see our Imperialdramon player thinking. Imperialdramon player thinking, we're going to digivolve into the XV. Like I said, would probably be best for 2. And then we're probably, if we want to do this, since we can end of turn DNA, we do have to probably just slam down the Lydramon for 5. But the problem with that is that we don't really have a good way to gain back enough memory, because it's going to cost 5. We'll gain 1 off the XV and 1 off the Davis Ken. So even if we do Hammer Spark, we're short 1 memory. This being an XVmon would have been a completely different game. So we are going to DNA here. We're going to DNA into a Structure Deck Imperialdramon, gaining a memory off the XV, gaining a memory off the Davis and Ken, stripping out sources, probably stripping the Monzemon. So I would not be surprised if we see a bottom decking of the Nume X, stripping the Monzemon, the Garemon, and both Monzemons and the Garemon. Which I don't know if our opponent drew a card, and he didn't strip any sources. I think he might be in the... Oh, okay, now he's realizing. I was about to say, he might be in the Nume zone, where we're just not sure of what we really want to be doing. Yep, so we're stripping out both level 5s, both the Monzes and level 5. We are able here to threaten the Ace. So if any of the Numemon's players Digimon attack, we are able to counter timing, go into Dragon Mode Ace, bottom deck the Valk Ace, and end the turn. What? I think that our Imperialdramon player forgot, because we know for sure that they have the Imperial Ace in hand. So being able to, if they attacked with that first, right, they're able to go, oh yeah, this is just tough. They're able to go into the Dragon Mode, or the Fighter Mode Ace, bottom deck the Valk, and then even with that extra 2 memory gain from playing out the Monse and slotting a Nume X underneath it, they still would have been able to keep turn. I really just think they might have forgotten about it, just in the Numemon slump. Sometimes you're playing against the deck, and the deck just does so much all the time. Sometimes you just forget exactly what you're needing to be doing, which is a bummer. We do see another Davis Ken played, and then we see the realization. I believe we'll see a realization here. We pick up a green, pick up a blue. We bottom deck the Vmon, because we digivolve into a Venusmon, and that is the game ender. Venusmon is extremely good in this matchup too. Numemon does so well into Imperial because of all of its top end choices that it gets. We're gonna see our players. We're gonna see our Imperial player concede here because there's nothing that they can do, and that is the end of that. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a comment, leave a like, all that fun algorithm stuff. Consider subscribing. If you didn't like it, leave a comment and tell me why you don't like it. I'm always looking to improve, and if you just want to be a hater on the internet, I get it. So until next time, stay cool.